My name is Alyssa Grant. I'm 28, and I learned two things the Thursday before our lease deposit cleared. My boyfriend wanted space, the kind with other women in it, and that timing can rot from the inside without making a sound. We were at our taco place, the one with paper menus that curl at the edges, and a jukebox that only knows 3 songs from the 90s. We just put $500 down on the new unit. I had a folder in my tote with measurements, paint swatches, and a dream of where morning light would land across a wall I hadn't even touched yet. It felt like momentum you could hold in your hands. Cole set his forearms on the table the way people do when they're about to present a quarterly report. His voice went feathery serious. We need to talk. Those 4 words rearrange oxygen. I held mine. I think, he said, clearing his throat, we should open our relationship. He watched my face, but only on my side. You don't need anyone else. You're so complete. The jukebox clicked, searching for another old chorus. The salsa in its plastic cup looked suddenly medicinal. I told him very calmly, sounds fair. His eyebrows shot up, then fell into a slow, relieved smile. See? This is why I love you. You're secure, mature. He was already dressed up. Shirt I hadn't seen before, hair styled with intention. I could smell sandalwood that wasn't ours. I glanced at the folder in my bag, at the little strips of eggshell white and soft gray I'd cut last night in bed while he watched videos on his phone. Tonight? I asked. He twirled his keys with a half apology, half flourish. There's this woman at yoga, Tessa. We've been talking, platonically, until now. This just gives us permission. Permission, I repeated, like learning a new word in a second language. On the walk home, he talked about growth and authenticity, the way people talk when they've already made a decision and are curating your reaction for their memory. I nodded in the appropriate places. By the time we reached the building, I had moved past the explosion and into the dust cloud where shapes reappear. Inside the apartment, he checked his reflection in the microwave door. You're not mad? I'm listening, I said. You said you wanted this. He kissed the air near my cheek. You're the best. He left a minute later, the door closing with a hush like a stage curtain. The second the latch clicked, I let my hands move. First, I called the landlord. Hi, Mr. Hoffman. Quick question. Cole isn't on the lease, right? Nope, he said, just you. So if he decides he doesn't live here anymore, he's your guest, Mr. Hoffman said gently. Keep me in the loop. I will. Next, I opened my laptop and pulled up our accounts. We split things, in theory. In practice, I'd been on autopilot. His phone on my plan, his car insurance nested in my policy for convenience, utilities on autopay in my checking, my streaming services with him as a profile that kept recommending true crime shows I never watched, 2 months of utilities he hadn't paid me back for, 3 months of groceries trending upward with his protein powders and specialty teas. I made a list. I didn't cancel anything yet. I just looked at the map of where my money went when I wasn't looking. At 1:58 a.m., the door clicked. Cole hummed something reverent and aimless. I pretended to sleep because truthfully I was praying for the kind of silence that lets you think in straight lines. Tuesday morning, he glowed. Tessa is so spiritual, he said, pouring coffee into my mug. She understands my need for growth. This is going to make us stronger. You're not jealous? He added, testing the air. Why would I be? This was your decision. I took the mug back. He looked offended for a second, like I'd failed at a script he'd handed me. By noon, a text. Babe, can you cash at me $200? Nails and a little something for tonight. I typed. I figured since you're exploring independence, you'd want to handle your dating expenses. 10 minutes passed. You're being petty. How? I'm just adjusting to your unilateral decision. That night, he messaged again from the living room. Why is my Netflix not working? I changed the password for everything with my name on it. I'm reconsidering who has access to my accounts. He stalked into the kitchen. We share everything. You use my accounts, I said evenly. There's a difference. He stared at me like I'd spoken a taboo. What's your problem? No problem, I said, rinse calm. You wanted to open things up. I'm opening things up. This isn't what I meant. What did you mean? I asked, genuinely curious. That I could see other people, but our life stays the same. So you date other women while I fund your entertainment and logistics. I didn't raise my voice. The sentence sat there. He hated that it didn't wobble. He grabbed his bag. I'm going to Tessa's. At least she appreciates growth. Have fun, I said, and even I was surprised at how much I meant it. If a door wants to leave its hinges, you don't beg the screws. Wednesday, I took a personal day. I bought boxes and packing tape, the good kind that doesn't shriek. I folded his shirts carefully, paired his socks the way I always do, because chaos is contagious and I didn't want it in my hands. I labeled everything. Cole, bedroom. Cole, bathroom. Cole, misc. The sound of tape sealing cardboard is a straight line. At lunch, I called Mr. Hoffman back. Update, I said, he didn't come home last night. Do you want him out? He asked. Not yet. I want documentation. If he doesn't come back tonight, I'll assume he has a new address. Understood. At 2:07 a.m., the hallway light flickered under the door. Keys. A pause. The knob turned. Nothing. I watched the shadow under the door recede. He didn't knock. He texted instead. We need to talk. I didn't answer. I watched the dot bubble appear and disappear like little lungs. Thursday noon, a cascade of messages arrived from numbers I didn't recognize. Eleanor, his mother, left a voicemail thick with fury and perfume. You can't just throw my son out, young lady. The building security desk rang to report a woman insisting she was my mother-in-law. I'm not married, I told them. Please don't let her up. By afternoon, I got the footage from security. Cole trying his old key, then attempting the movie credit card trick at my lock. I filed a police report. No drama, just a record with a number that begins to stitch a boundary into paper. Thursday evening, I wrote a note in clear, careful print and taped it to a tower of boxes in the building's storage room. Cole, your things. You have 30 days to collect them. Call the manager to access storage. Alyssa. Then I changed the locks. Legal, Mr. Hoffman had confirmed. Logical, my bones had. I turned my phone off for the first time in a year. It felt like unplugging a lamp and realizing the room still has windows. I drove 2 hours north to Jenna's lake house, the road unwinding like a sentence I could finally finish. Jenna didn't ask for particulars. She just put a bowl of cherries on the porch table and let the water do the talking. Sometimes friendship is a room where no one narrates you. Night fell with cricket static. My body remembered how to unclench. In that dark, I felt the outline of something returning. Dignity, maybe. Not the flashy kind, but the quiet seam that holds you together under everything else. By Saturday, I could look at the last 3 days without tasting metal. I drafted a list in my notebook. Lease, only me. Documented. Accounts, passwords changed. Finances, audit complete. Repayment ledger started. Property, his boxed, labeled, stored. Security, locks changed. Report filed. Communications, off until Monday. On Sunday evening, the lake turned to glass. I could see my face in it, almost steady. I thought of the apartment and the strips of paint taped to that unpainted wall. I thought of the way Cole had said permission, like he was handing me a gift that was really an invoice. I decided that when I turned my phone back on, it would be because I had chosen the noise, not because the noise had chosen me. I slept. Deeply. Dreamlessly. When I woke before dawn, mist ribboned the water. Somewhere in the gray, a loon called, a clean, solitary note that didn't apologize for being singular. On Monday morning, I packed my bag, hugged Jenna, and headed home. At the stoplight before the highway, I powered up my phone. 79 missed calls, 134 texts, 21 emails. My screen brightened with a backlog of other people's emergencies. I took a breath. I wasn't an emergency. I was a person with a lease, a job, and a plan. I tapped open the first message to part 2. The first thing that hit me wasn't the number of messages. It was the tone. Some were pleading, others performative. Cole's texts came in waves. This is insane. You can't just throw me out. You changed the locks? Alyssa, I'm calling my lawyer. Then came a voice note, 45 seconds of theatrical sighing. You're overreacting. You're making it impossible to talk like adults. I'm just asking for honesty. The kind of honesty that starts with lying to yourself. By the time I reached my building, Mr. Hoffman had already texted. He came by twice this weekend, didn't get in. Security handled it. You're fine. Good. I wanted it all logged, every attempt, every intrusion. Documentation is how women survive the gray area between polite and protected. Then came the calls, from numbers I didn't recognize. Eleanor, his mother, led the charge. You had no right, she snapped, when I answered out of curiosity. You know he's struggling emotionally. Eleanor, I said quietly, he told me he wanted to date other women. That's not the point. It's exactly the point. She sputtered something about unfairness and forgiveness. I thanked her for her concern and hung up. That night, Cole's Instagram story bloomed like fungus. A black background, white text. When you outgrow someone, they call it betrayal. Then a quote card. Abusers love control. Freedom terrifies them. The irony almost knocked me off the couch. I didn't respond, not publicly, not yet. Instead, I made tea, sat cross-legged on the floor, and opened my laptop. I started building my own file, a quiet rebuttal, waiting in the wings. Every screenshot, every text, every date-stamped receipt. If Cole wanted to play the social martyr, he'd picked the wrong historian to spar with. 2 days later, a friend from work, Amelia, messaged me privately. Hey, random question. Your boyfriend's name isn't Cole Donovan, right? Was. Oh my God, you're not going to like this. Then she sent me screenshots from a Facebook post in our local community group, Cole claiming he'd been illegally evicted by an emotionally unstable ex. His comments were filled with performative sympathy and women offering him couches. One name caught my eye, Tessa, the yoga class woman, the spiritual one. She'd commented, "You can crash here anytime. You deserve peace." The post had 60 likes by the time I saw it. I let it sit there, collecting empathy like a donation jar. Then I uploaded my own post, carefully, factually, unemotionally. For context, Cole and I shared my apartment temporarily. He was not on the lease. Thursday, he informed me he wanted to open our relationship, but only on his side. Thursday night, he left for a date with another woman and did not return. Friday, his belongings were packed and placed in storage with 30-day access. Rent, utilities, and car insurance have been paid 100% by me for the past 6 months. This is not abuse, it's boundaries. I attached screenshots of our text exchange and the open relationship, only me message. I hit post, then muted the thread. It took 5 hours to spread. 300 shares. 8 ex-girlfriends reached out. 3 of them had eerily similar stories. Promised exclusivity, then blindsided by openness. Left covering bills. Publicly painted as unstable afterward. We made a group chat. Someone joked, "Welcome to the Cole Survivor Society." The name stuck. Friday morning, I woke to an email from Tessa. "Hey, Alyssa, I didn't realize what was going on when he told me about you. He said you were toxic and wouldn't let him leave. I'm so sorry. He's been sleeping on my couch, but not anymore." She attached screenshots, him hitting on her and another woman named Kayla on the same night. I forwarded the email to myself and saved it in my receipts folder. That evening, Mr. Hoffman called again. "Caught him on camera trying his old key," he said. "Do you want to press charges?" I watched the footage, Cole jamming a credit card into my lock like a bad movie thief, then running when security arrived. "No," I said, "not yet. Just note it." By Saturday, my building's group chat was buzzing with whispers. Apparently, Cole had started staying with Kayla, a girl he'd met on Tinder 3 days ago. "Poor woman," someone typed. "Can't save people who mistake chaos for chemistry," I wrote back. Sunday afternoon, an unknown number texted me. "You think you've won? You'll regret this. I'm getting legal help." No name, but the punctuation, aggressive and panicked, was pure Cole. Monday morning, I woke to an envelope taped to my door. Small claims court filing notice. He was suing me for illegal eviction and emotional distress. I laughed so hard I spilled my coffee. By noon, I was in my friend Naomi's office. She's a lawyer who moonlights as a human lie detector. She read the filing aloud, squinting. $10,000 for emotional distress and 3 months living expenses, she said. Adorable. Was he ever on the lease? Nope. Did he pay rent? Not a cent. Any written proof he called it temporary? I opened my phone, showed her a text. "Thanks again for letting me stay while I figure out my own place." Dated 2 months earlier. Naomi leaned back. "Then this'll be dismissed before lunch, but we can have fun with it." Fun. Counterclaim. Attempted break-in. Defamation. Unpaid shared costs. You'll win on paper and principle. That night, I ordered takeout for one, poured wine into a mug, and exhaled for what felt like the first time all week. I looked at my laptop. Our old photos lined up like evidence of an illusion, and deleted them, one folder at a time. Then I opened Instagram. Cole had posted another cryptic story. When she weaponizes independence, she's really afraid of abandonment. The comments were full of pseudo-spiritual support. I didn't reply, but I noticed something new. Someone had tagged at Tessa.yoga under his post and written, "Girl, isn't this your couch?" I smiled, then I turned off my screen and let the quiet stretch. He wanted a wide open life. He got it. Just not the way he imagined. Part 3. By Wednesday morning, the story had spread beyond our city. Someone had reposted my timeline thread on Reddit under "our side relationship gone wrong." The comments were half shock, half slow clapping. By lunchtime, people were sharing it like a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, Cole doubled down. He filmed a TikTok in his car, eyes red, voice trembling with self-pity. "Men can be victims too," he said. "I just wanted honesty, and she destroyed me." I watched it once, then again, more amused than angry. The acting was almost convincing. Almost. That afternoon, Naomi called. "Court date's set for next Tuesday. Bring your documentation. We'll end this quick." I asked if I should be nervous. She laughed. "He's representing himself, Alyssa. You'll be fine." The rest of the week was a carousel of calls from numbers I didn't save. Eleanor, again. "Do you know what this is doing to his reputation? He's humiliated." "Then maybe he shouldn't have filmed a public monologue," I said. "You're heartless." "No," I corrected. "I'm consistent." Friday morning, I woke to a familiar ping, an email from Kayla, the Tinder woman. "He told me you cheated on him and kicked him out. He's been here for a week and hasn't left my couch. Now he's messaging other girls. I think he's actually homeless." Attached. Screenshots of their DMs, timestamps overlapping with messages to me and to Tessa. Pattern confirmed. Kayla's last line hit me like a final puzzle piece snapping into place. "He said you were controlling because you wouldn't pay for his gas money." That night I printed everything. Screenshots, texts, timestamps, bank statements. Each sheet felt like an exorcism. Paper doesn't lie, even when people do. Tuesday morning, the courthouse smelled like old carpet and cheap coffee. I sat beside Naomi at the long wooden bench, a folder of receipts balanced on my lap. Cole entered wearing a suit that looked borrowed, creased shoulders, shiny knees. Eleanor was behind him, clutching tissues like a weapon. When our case was called, he strode up, trying for composure. "Your Honor," he began, "I was illegally evicted from a residence I shared with my partner of 3 years." The judge, a woman in her 50s with the patience of a saint, raised one eyebrow. "You were on the lease?" "No, but I contributed in other ways. Emotionally, spiritually." "Financially?" He hesitated. "That's not the point." The judge scribbled something. "It is the point, Mr. Donovan." Naomi stood, calm and surgical. "Your Honor, my client was the sole leaseholder and paid all rent, utilities, and expenses. Mr. Donovan left voluntarily after announcing his intention to pursue other partners. We have written proof." She handed over the folder. The judge flipped through the text, the Venmo requests, the "open relationship only for me" message. Her mouth twitched once, half amusement, half disbelief. "Mr. Donovan," she said finally, "you left to stay with another woman. You were not a tenant. Your ex-partner had every right to change her locks." Eleanor leapt up. "She manipulated him." The judge's voice sharpened. "Ma'am, sit down or I'll have you removed." Cole's composure cracked. "She's trying to ruin my life." "I'm not trying," I said quietly. "You're doing that yourself." The courtroom chuckled. Even the clerk smiled before catching himself. The judge sighed, pinching the bridge of her nose. "Your claim for illegal eviction and emotional distress is dismissed with prejudice. Ms. Grant's counterclaim is granted." Naomi slid another document forward. $500 for the attempted break-in, $1,000 for defamation, $4,200 for unpaid utilities and insurance. Cole paled. "I don't have that kind of money." "Then I suggest you find employment," the judge said dryly. Eleanor's voice rose, shrill with disbelief. "This is unfair. He's the victim." "Ma'am," the judge said, "your son wanted an open relationship. He got one. Case closed." The gavel hit wood. That sound, final, resonant, felt like a clean exhale after months of holding breath. Outside the courthouse, Cole caught up to me. "I loved you," he said, voice trembling, eyes glossy with self-performance. "How could you do this to me?" I turned to face him. "You did this to yourself, Cole. You wanted an open door. You just didn't expect to find yourself outside of it." "I didn't mean it like that," he whispered. "Then maybe next time, say what you mean before you start shopping for new partners." Eleanor stormed up, finger pointed. "You ruined his life." "No," I said softly. "I just stopped financing it." Naomi appeared behind me, like quiet reinforcement. "We're done here," she said. We walked toward the parking lot. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. That evening, I sat in my apartment. The same walls, the same furniture. But everything felt lighter. I ordered takeout again, this time without guilt, and watched the city glow through my window. For the first time in weeks, the quiet wasn't heavy. It was peace. Part 4. By the following week, it was like watching a storm finally run out of thunder. Cole's online tantrum fizzled once people saw the court ruling posted in the public record. Tessa and Kayla each made their own posts, short, clear, mortifying for him. When someone calls every woman an abuser, maybe look for the common denominator. He tried to clap back, but no one bit. The sympathy well had gone dry. Meanwhile, the Cole Survivor Society chat kept buzzing. Tessa joined, then Kayla. Someone made a meme of his yoga pose captioned, "Balancing between accountability and delusion." I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. The group wasn't mean-spirited, just healing. We compared notes, connected dots, and reclaimed our own versions of events. Every story lined up like beads on the same string. Same charm, same lies, same end. Naomi said, "That's the beauty of documentation. Truth stacks up eventually." A week later, I got an email from Eleanor. Curt, brittle politeness, barely masking resentment. "For your information, I paid his judgment amount. I hope you're satisfied." I typed back, "Thank you for closing the account. Wishing you peace." Then hit send. No sarcasm, no gloating, just clean closure. A few days later, I went rock climbing again for the first time since the breakup. My friend group had missed me. I'd missed the rhythm of breath and gravity. At the gym, I met Rebecca. Steady voice, chalk-streaked hands, easy smile. We talked between climbs, nothing flirty, just grounded. When she said, "Want to grab coffee after this?" I didn't hear potential danger. I just heard normal, human, equal. We sat at a corner table, steam curling between us, and for once I didn't tell my story in defensive shorthand. I said it simply. He wanted to open our relationship just for him. I said okay, then closed every door he thought he owned. Rebecca grinned. Poetic justice. Legal justice, technically. We both laughed. That night, I walked home under city lights that looked newly honest. The air smelled like rain, not panic. 2 weeks passed. My phone stayed quiet until it didn't. An unknown number again. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. "Alyssa, it's me. I'm sorry. I just wanted to feel desired and special. Can we talk?" For a second, muscle memory reached for softness. Then reality reasserted itself. I typed slowly, deliberately. "You wanted an open relationship where only you could see other people. That's not self-discovery. That's narcissism. Please don't contact me again." He replied within minutes. "You're really going to throw away 3 years? You threw them away when you decided I should fund your dating life. Goodbye." Then I blocked the number, again. A week later, Tessa sent a screenshot to the group chat, Cole's dating profile on a new app. Bio line, recovering from a toxic ex who couldn't handle real freedom. Kayla replied with a string of laughing emojis. Rebecca, who'd joined the chat now that she'd heard the saga, typed, "Poor next girl." And just like that, the tension dissolved into laughter. Sometimes at night, I still think about that Thursday, the one before the deposit cleared, when I believed stability was a shared project. But now I know better. Stability isn't something you split. It's something you build alone until someone proves they can hold it with you. I look around my apartment, the one that's fully mine. There's a new sofa against the window wall, low enough to make the space look bigger, just like I'd planned months ago. The morning light lands perfectly across it, turning the fabric gold. I don't post about it. I don't need to. Peace doesn't need an audience. I sip my coffee and smile. Sometimes the best kind of closure isn't dramatic. It's administrative. Locks changed, names removed, passwords updated, lessons learned. Cole wanted an open relationship. He got one, wide open, all the way out the door. And me? I got something better. Silence that feels like freedom, not punishment.